Alright, here we go, and it's 126. Mark. Alright, here we go from scratch. Today's drill is a shuffle drill. Shuffle drill is going to start with washing cards to get the games going. What you are going to find when you get to the table is 4 decks of cards, and they need to be washed. So the way that you wash 4 decks of cards is after you've collected drill for today is the shuffle drill, and the shuffle drill is going to start off with washing the cards to get the game going to begin with. Without the cards, there's no game, so we want to make sure that you know how to wash the decks, and then make sure that you know how to shuffle according to today's drill is the shuffle drill. Shuffle drill is going to start with washing the 4 decks of cards, getting them into a stack so they can be shuffled properly. A professional shuffle shouldn't take longer than about a minute and gets you playing again, which is the goal of the table. So when you arrive at the table, you're going to see 4 decks of cards. They will probably be fanned out like this in their denominations. We've already done that with these. So what we're going to do is not too vigorously, because they are slippery cards. They're professional casino cards, wax cards, and they will fly everywhere given the opportunity. So once you think that you've got a pretty good wash on these things, then you're going to stack them back up. And that's the way that you stack them up. You grab them, and you have the denomination facing towards you, not the other players, and you get this stacked up into one big pile as quickly as you can. If a card flips over, that's alright, you just flip it back and away you go. The denominations on the cards for blackjack are face value, except for jacks, queens, and kings. They of course count for 10, and the only card in the deck with a variable value are the aces. Aces can be played as 1s or 11s, depends on how it benefits the hand as a whole. That is true of both the dealer and the players. So once you have all of your cards stacked up into one pile, you're going to split that pile into 2 roughly equal piles. We'll move that one back. And then you're going to move them into this configuration here. The reason for that is you're going to move chunks of these cards forward, and you're going to rip them with the faces down. You're not going to shuffle them in the air like this. This is not the casino shuffle. Casino shuffle looks like this. And if you are confused about the configuration of the cards, you need to just put your hands down on the table in an arrowhead like this. This gives you the angles that you need, and this is how you're going to do it. You put them roughly corner to corner, you move them in a little bit, hold down the outer furthest corner from you, closest to the camera, and then you're going to rip with your thumb. Just like that. Okay? Now once they're ripped, you can move them so that they're in line with each other, and with very little effort you can just move them straight into each other like that. Every time you take a fresh chunk of cards, you're going to rip them 3 times. And then you're going to move them over to one side into what is going to be that same size pile again. 1, 2, and if you have to shuffle them back and forth a little bit, that's fine. But if you have one rip that is particularly poor, then all you have, like that's not a good one. So you just pull them back. Now that's my first one, my second one, and my third one. Okay. Now, when you're taking chunks of cards from these stacks, it's whatever your hands are comfortable with. Some people can do 4 decks in 4 rips, some can do it in 3, some it takes 5. And that's okay too. So, 1, 2, 3, and you stack it up. Now what's going to happen is you're going to take these decks and you're going to roll them forward. You're the only person that can see the back of this. The only card visible, doesn't matter if it's only one card, you are the only person that's able to see that. You're going to hand this cut card to one of the players. It can be a player of your choice. They can ask to have it. What I like to do is give it to the person who has been complaining that they're not getting the cards they want, because this card is actually going to determine how the cards come out of the shoe. So you'll give it to them, you'll point them this edge of the cards, they'll take that and they'll pop it right in there. As soon as that card goes in there, pinch the sides so that that card's actually quite tricky. You don't want to have to go digging for it, because your next motion is going to be very quick and fluid. You're going to move the front to the back. With this card, you are now going to knock about 3/4 of a deck off the back end. And the reason for that is there's enough cards here to complete a hand should that card come out over the course of play. And that will designate your final hand. So your next move is to take them, tap them up against the side of the shoe. You're going to pinch front and back and get these cards in the shoe and release them. But I'm not going to do that right now because I'm going to show you another shuffle. And to do that, we just need to get back to the big stack, divide it into approximately 2. Like this. This is how quick the shuffle should go. Something like that. 1, 2, 3. You are trying to feather the cards as best you can. 1, 2, 3. And you saw how I'm using my ring fingers and my little fingers to get those piles back into shape if they fall apart. That's 2 and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Alright, that's on top. Roll it over. Cut card goes here, front to back. Take about 3/4 of a deck off the back end of it. These are cards that won't be played. Now, to make it easiest to get into the shoe, give it a nice little tap next to it. Pop them right into the shoe like this. And as you're pulling the shoe back into your playing position, you're taking this card as a burn card. It goes into the discard shoe, and nobody gets to see that, not even the dealer. The shoe and the discard shoe should be in such a position where they're easy for you to handle. So you're going to be playing around a little bit for comfort for both of those positions. That's alright. Every dealer is going to be a little bit different. But the idea when you're pulling the card is that with a flick of your left wrist, you're pulling the card into your right hand. You are not going like this with your left hand all the time, because your back is going to kill you within an hour. You're taking from the left and drawing to your right. Your body is staying square to the table. And that's your first hand dealt.